Hello, everybody. Christina here. Welcome to another week of the weekly card pull party. And I'm your host, Christina Wolf. I already said that though. I'm going to see if anybody's going to pop on here. And I hope you all enjoy my look at this gray wisdom streaks that I've got going on here. This is the my new haircut, and when I wear my hair back, you can't see the streaks, but when I wear my hair, down, you can. So anyways, welcome. Hello, if you're here, say hi. Glad to have you. And we're going into another week for March 25th. This coming week is going to be kind of interesting for me. I am actually being sent on a special assignment for my job. Hey, Deb, how are you? I'm happy you're here. I'm getting sent to a different courtroom. As you all know, I went back to work with the sheriff's office, and I work in the courthouse as a bailiff. And that means instead of in the transport area where I used to be, I'm now in the courtrooms. And the person who says all rise whenever the judge gets in. Well, anyway, I am going to be sent to a different county adjacent to the one I'm in now to do what's called a change of venue. And that is for kind of a high profile case. Can't really discuss the details of it right now, but I'll be out of town. Technically, I have a hotel room to stay there for 2 weeks, but I'm planning to commute. So I will be here Thursday night for our conversations about the universe and you in it, if all goes well. Now, if the jury gets sequestered, I might not be available, but I'll be definitely giving you some notice about that. Hey, Hope, how are you? Glad you're here. I'm going to open Sacred Space. I didn't get a chance to do that before the live started. So before I even start shuffling my deck, and I wanted to tell you, if you've never done opening Sacred Space, you can easily find a way to, you can look it up. Four Winds Society has a great little prayer to say, but I like my own sort of flavor to it. As long as your intentions are to invite in all the four winds and four directions and all the wisdom of the elements and the spirits. And I even get out a compass. Here it is on my phone. By the way, some of you noticed that I have a brand new phone here with my pretty shiny case. My phone died mid-conversation yesterday, and I really think it was just like spirit intervening in the grand scheme of things. If you're just popping on, say hello. Happy to have you. Well, anyway, I spent much of yesterday getting a new phone and verifying that the phone I had died. And so, anywho, I'm just adding on my compass to my phone, and I literally use my compass when I'm doing the four winds to find out which direction we're in. Because if I were just to actually doing a ceremony of sorts, I would literally get up and be facing in that direction. So for those of you who are unaware, for me, the east is way over here, and that's the south. This is the west, and this is the north. So if you have a phone and you feel inclined to figure out which direction is which, you're welcome to look at it. And in many different modalities, the four winds have a different element to it. From what I understand, the east is fire, the south is earth, the west is water, and the north is air. And that's the ones that I know of. And so I'm going to call in the winds of the east. So we will literally aim in this direction. So I'm going to say, welcome to the winds of the east. We welcome you in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The great void, the place for which we all come and where we all end. This is the springtime of our lives. And I also welcome in Eagle Condor for your 30,000 foot view and the ability to see the big picture. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Now I'd like to call in the winds of the south. This is the summertime of our lives. This is all of the earthly animals, the ones that slither along the earth. Brother Snake, thank you for your wisdom, the ability to shed old skin and to be one with the earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your wisdom. And to the winds of the west. This is the earth, or I'm sorry, the water element. Thank you for spirit of jaguar, my totem animal, the spirit of tenacity of the fall of your life, of harvesting all of that which you have learned, and to keep going in times of trial and tribulation, and to also be a rite of passage and revelation. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the west, the place where the sun sets. And then to the winds of the north, spirit of hummingbird, also spirit of elk, caribou, our ancestors, the wisdom, air element. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And also I'd like to invite in the spirit of the winter, where we come in the ending of our lives and the completion of all of our spiritual lessons. This is the place where we draw on that wisdom, and of course to all of our ancestors. And I'm going to put my hands on the ground. You can do so too. Thank you to Mother Earth, as always, for being here, for giving us a solid place to live, and for grounding us quite literally and holding us in your womb and giving this sense of safety and comfort. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And to Father Sky and the Star Nations. And some people believe this is where we've come from. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your wisdom. And of course, Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun, thank you for being here. And I will invite in my spirit guides, benevolent light beings, my archangels, Michael, and Ariel is talking to me. Ariel, the archangel of fairies and nature, and of course herbs, the plants. Thank you for being here and for giving us all of your wisdom. And it's been a period of revelation. I don't know about you, but since returning to my job, it's, for me, I don't know if you've found this. Tell me what your experiences have been. Hello, Shana. Hello, Bridget. And anyone else who's just joining, say hello if you're just popping on. But from my experience, I feel like I'm sort of returning to certain places that I've been, or going into the origins of my being and learning new information, so that when I'm looking out, I'm seeing the same landscape with different eyes. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, returning to my job, and I just have a much more relaxed position. Like, this is going to be a place where it will be the platform for my purpose, many purposes in life. I have many goals in my career at the sheriff's office that, you know, I decided to take the path less taken, and I quit to pursue my coaching business. And then, you know, just the powers that be led me to return. And I really feel like my calling at this point is assisting with healing from early childhood trauma. And ultimately, my goal is, this weekend, I interviewed with Big Brothers Big Sisters to be a mentor for children, you know, underprivileged children in the workplace. It's our Bigs in Blue program, and I'm really looking forward to it. The ability to have an influence on our youth coming up, especially those who've had some sort of trauma or lack of adult supervision. This is really important to me. I feel like this is one of my divine missions in life. And so your ability to influence people in such a way, whatever your divine mission is, I encourage you to do it in a way that's tangible. That's something you can do every day, be a part of someone's everyday life. Like think about Oprah in her latest interview on childhood trauma and 60 Minutes a couple of weeks ago. And I think I put the video in here. And one of the things she asked Dr. Bruce Perry, the renowned researcher on child trauma and PTSD, was, what's the difference between someone who maybe has a terrible childhood and they grow up just fine, and say someone who's gone through significant trauma and they end up with PTSD. Now, mind you, we all handle and cope with different situations in different ways. But what Dr. Perry said was that it was relationships. And Oprah later, when she was talking about the interview, she said what he was really referring to, because he's a research scientist, is love. Like people in your life that who made you feel important. And she hearkened it back to the person in her life who did that for her was her fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Duncan. And I had a very important counselor in my life named Holly. Bless her. And I feel like Holly saved my life. So anyways, I'm verklempt again. Oh, thank you guys for witnessing me. Thank you for being here. Holly, when I was 19, I was going through a really hard period of depression. I'd never really even been diagnosed with it. And she was the first person to really hear me and listen to me. And she used to tell me, Holly whenever you feel like you're getting, having a moment, just say, Holly told me to stop thinking about it. And I remembered that feeling of like somebody to anchor me when I was feeling really stressed. And that's what Oprah's talking about. Make that difference in somebody's life. And this has just been a really powerful week for me. So thank you guys for being here and like witnessing my craziness. And I feel so incredibly blessed to have so many people, like things come full circle. They really do. And you have that ability to give this to other people. And this is what they mean by be a light worker. It's not like, Oprah's wonderful. Like, she can she has this great, huge platform, but we, in the everyday lives that we have, we can make a difference to people. So anyways, that's the energy that I'm feeling from this week. Everyday lives, what you can do. The person that you smile at the convenience store when you get your gas in the morning, maybe you're the highlight of their day, and I'm saying, yes, Bridget says, yes, my life purpose of being an animal messenger is starting to take life. We live in amazing times. It is time for us to be real. Yes, it is. It's time to be real. It's time to show our side that we were afraid to show. And so I'm feeling like Spirit really wants to tell me a whole bunch of stuff for this week. And so let's get started. And I'm really just feeling like this powerful calling to just share this message with you guys. We're here for a reason. Don't underestimate your importance. Don't underestimate the ability you have to make a difference in other people's lives in very profound ways. It's amazing. So, okay, I'm going to shuffle the cards here. And if you would like a card, I'm going to I think limiting it to 5 people was wonderful. Like, I think that's just the right happy number that keeps us right at an hour. So if you'd like a card, to the first 5 people who ask for one, I'll be happy to pull one for you. So let me know if you'd like a card, and I'll check the comments now. So Bridget would like one. Wonderful. And Hope. Shayna, Deb, and one more. One more if you'd like one. All right, so I'm going to shuffle the deck here. Thank you, Spirit, for the information you're going to give us. It's really, really profound times and really good times, really good times. Even when we're not okay, we're okay. Like somehow we're going through this stuff for a purpose. And Bethany, yeah, my beautiful cousin Bethany. Oh, I'm so happy you guys are here. All right, shuffling now. All right, so there we are. We have 5 folks. And if you can't stay on for the whole time, feel free to just, fast forward to the end if you need to listen to the replay to get your card. And let me know, are you all hearing me okay? Because my camera's doing like this weird delay thing and like it's sort of buffering a little bit. And I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. All right. I'm going to shuffle one more time. I'm assuming you guys can hear me. Yep, good. Awesome. Bridget says, yep. Bethany, yes. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to cut the deck 3 times. With my left hand, of course, receiving from Spirit, divine intuition. And I wanted to do something I felt really called to do. Hope, thank you for sharing about blue kyanite. I went and I got some. And the wonderful, unique quality of blue kyanite is that it does not absorb and it does not retain any negative energy, and you can also use it to cleanse other items like crystals and whatnot. And so if you feel like, for example, here's a piece of it. If you go ahead and get some, like for example, place them over your cards, and if you feel like there's any kind of energy that's related to, it just, to me, it's like a grounding stick. It helps you to get the right energy from your cards and clean out anything that might be not of the highest light and good. So here is for Monday, Tuesday. As I'm shuffling, I got another one. This one's for Wednesday, Thursday. Here's one for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then the next one for the overall energy of the week. And then right after that, I will pull each individual card. So let's get started. I'm using my right hand. King of Wands. Fire energy already. Wands. And the herb associated with the King of Wands, and I'll show this in a minute here, is cinnamon. And I talked about this last week. We pulled this card last week, so I think it might be a little bit of a continuation of that. Cinnamon is has a warming effect in the body. So, but for me, it's also kind of homeopathic. Like whenever I'm worried about my blood pressure being high, I will drink something or eat something with cinnamon in it. And it's also really good for blood sugar. So the King of Wands represents the fiery aspect of fire. This is symbolized by the deep red shirt and desert landscape. The blue outer cape suggests the power and capacity to contain heat. So thus there's a great reserve of inner strength. So already we're sort of talking about have the ability to make a big influence on other people and part of the ability to do so is to have a very good sense of self and who you are and that inner strength. And so the King of Wands is telling you, enjoy the feeling of power and control, and the King of Wands has the capacity and energy to use it whenever required. So when you're really grounded in yourself and who you are, you can direct your power, and that's part of what energy maintenance or energy hygiene is, like staying clean and clear and in your power. And so that's one of the things I'm getting from this, is like really be attuned to who you really are and stay in your own power. Build up that heat. Build up that, hey Charlotte, how are you? Thank you for joining. You really build up that inner strength, basically, to do the things that you feel inclined to do. The king must learn that there may be virtue in holding back this energy in certain situations. And that's what I mean by control over it. Like if you're unaware of where your energy is coming and going, you can easily waste it on silly things. And you want to be able to reserve it for later, for the things that really matter. And so that's what energy mastery is all about. And so going into this Monday, Tuesday, just be really aware of where's your energy going, where is it going, and if you feel like you're getting depleted, maybe it's going somewhere it shouldn't be going, just remember, you can always call on, drink some cinnamon tea, and really sit there and feel the fire within burn, and really get a feel for the power that you hold within yourself. So the king must guard against any tendency towards overreaction, impulsiveness, or cruelty. Really maintaining a calm, controlled demeanor. Something's important this week that requires you to have control over your energy. Don't be triggered. Don't be flying off the handle. Just kind of have a basic idea of, why am I feeling this way? And if you're feeling inclined to be triggered, really pay attention to that and don't react. Sort of go, okay, I feel this. This is coming on and I get it. Okay, for those who have a lack of the positive aspect of the firepower, it may be time to start developing and finding the inner motivation and decisiveness that the fiery king represents. So I like that sense of decisiveness. You get to decide where your stuff goes. And being wishy-washy creates wishy-washy situations, especially with wishy-washy boundaries. Okay, that's when you're real decisive, you can cut out a whole bunch of heartache. Just say no. That's kind of the message I'm getting here. Know who you are, know what you want, know what you want to be available for, and be clear and concise about it. Okay, that's that for Monday, Tuesday. Cinnamon helps build the internal fire and will. Its warm energy can dissipate inner coldness and allow the creative fires to burn. So, a good affirmation: I acknowledge my inner fires and use my strength to direct my destiny. So, let's move on to Wednesday, Thursday. This is Ginseng. Ooh, another good one. The Fool. We haven't pulled the Fool yet, and this is a major arcana. I'm telling you, I felt some good energy, like some big sweeping energy coming up this week. And how perfect. We're coming into April Fools at the end of the week. So the Fool is also one of those, like, sounds like it could be negative, but not so much. Ginseng, if any of you guys know, ginseng has is a very masculine herb, and it's just like cinnamon, it likes to bring the fire. So anybody who, ginseng is good for memory, ginseng's good for energy. Hold on, let's look up the Fool here. Somewhere in the middle of the week, we are being inclined to be a fool. Okay, the Fool is our most inner self, who is limitless, boundless, adventurous, and immortal. Your higher self, really. I don't know why they want to call him a fool. Sounds wonderful. He is guided by his heart's path, symbolized by the rose and by the divine golden light, which he perceives as divine grace pouring down to him. Because of his innocent trust in the divine, the Fool steps forward fearlessly, oblivious of the impending cliff which will tumble him down through the world of experiences and adventures. I want to say this. We're in Saturn is going to happen. It's in Capricorn, and it's going to be there for a couple more, I think, throughout 2018 over into 2019. And when Saturn is in its home sign of Capricorn, things like real life practical things like this, my life is a perfect example. You know, I'd love to idealistically like to quit my job and go, you know, be a coach full time, but at the same time we got bills to pay, and you know things like that come up, and you go, I'm not going to give up my passions, but I will feel like I need to address some practical things. And so the Fool is the part of you that's saying, I have this huge, enormous passion, but Saturn is going to be there to say, okay, well, let's do this, but let's do this smart. Let's do this in a practical way. So the Fool may have some very idealistic, you may have some very idealistic ideas, and we're not saying don't do them, just do them in a way that doesn't make you look foolish, hence the Fool. So in his knapsack, the Fool carries those traits and characteristics inherited from his ancestry, previous lives, and cosmic memory. He will use these gifts and powers as needed during his sojourn as an incarnated spirit. Okay, so here's an example. If you feel like you have a divine mission, for me, certain things just sort of come to me like memory, like herbal medicine. I feel like in a past life I was definitely some kind of medicine woman. I've been told that, people who've read my cards. And and of course, if you feel like you have a divine mission, you may be calling upon some of your old karma, and that's going to play out this week. Like I said, if you feel like you have a divine mission, you need to make a difference. Don't do it foolishly. Do it in a way that's practical and somebody can easily reap the benefits of it. Uranus, an erratic, revolutionary, and eccentric planet, is the ruler of the Fool. Thus, he may appear to be crazy and outlandish or creative and original. He is free of self-imposed restrictions and is open to change and inspiration. The Fool, being key 0, see down here, 0, is above all the other 21 major keys, and thus he has freedom of movement. This is also that 20,000-foot view. Like when you're the Fool, you're so much in your higher self that for me, I was able to pull back and just be like, I can see the big picture here. I know, like, I'm going to be okay. Even when I'm not okay, I'm going to be okay. And so it allowed me to still maintain this really optimistic view of my divine mission. So I think it's telling you that when you stay in your higher self, you can have a lot more freedom, and you can really see like this very sweeping landscape of your future ahead of you. So the Fool can appear in our lives when we least expect him. He encourages us to be more detached in the roles that we play and reminds us of our true beingness as children of the Great Spirit. So I like this thing about the detached roles, because if we get so stuck in, you know, like tunnel vision and looking at our, but I have this job and it's limiting me to do this. Don't worry about it. Just look at don't think about the how, think about your why and what you're doing, and this is your vision and you want to keep going with it. Even though you have some practical things that are keeping you tunnel visioned, don't let it be the thing that keeps you from wanting to keep going. So the Fool is a visual representative of the Tao, or the void, the energy of the East, which is nothing and everything. It's the place where we come from and the place to which we return. The Fool is our true self, joyously playing the script but never losing contact with the power of life. So you may go through some stuff, and it may be like, you know, I've been through the past and I feel really dumb about these decisions or whatever, but at the same time, you learn so much from making these decisions from your higher self that don't make sense, but are, in the end, you're like, yeah, that's why I went through that experience. So something going on this week is going to be, you know, first, Monday, you're going to be wanting to really be in yourself, know who you are. In the middle of the week, you're going to really feel that sense of purposeness come to you. But it's going to be from your higher self. And it may not make sense, but just trust spirit, okay? So let's go into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Queen of Cups, the water element. Are y'all hearing me okay? I'm still getting a lot of buffering on my end, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me good. If you can't hear me, let me know. Queen of Cups, Lady's Mantle. Let me look that up. Queen of Cups. I always like the water element. Makes you feel very abundant. The Queen sits on a rock surrounded by the sea of emotions and yet is close to the shore of Earth, representing a centering and grounding of the emotions. So already you might have a very powerful sense of self going on and you got a divine mission, but don't let yourself get swept away. Stay and kind of go with the flow of the sea of what's going on. Stay, like she said, it's close to the shore of Earth, representing a centering and grounding of the emotions. To further strengthen the symbolism, the Queen of Cups is situated behind Lady's Mantle, an herb whose main function is to coalesce the water, emotions, and earth, manifestation, things that make it in this 3D world, elements within. So if you have some things, basically anything related to thoughts becoming things, that's going to be going on this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Queen of Cups represents a woman in full command of her power of visions and dreams. Don't let yourself be willy-nilly. Really pay attention to that flow of thoughts that's going on inside of you and make sure that what you're bringing into fruition is exactly what you want. She knows what she has to offer and what she's capable of receiving. Not everybody knows that. So for me, this whole concept of knowing what you have to offer and what you're capable of receiving, don't get too tangled up in it. Don't get too, just let it flow. Don't block yourself from receiving and don't block yourself from thinking that you don't have anything to offer. Or you may have plenty to offer. You'd be surprised at what comes out, okay? The Queen of Cups is not lost in hopeless romantic delusions, hence the Fool. So it's sort of telling you this, yeah, you might be having some very lofty ideas. Don't go crazy, okay? Just be like the moon, where she's able to reflect to others what they most need to see in themselves, okay? The Queen of Cups loves the ocean or large bodies of water and is inspired and healed by their proximity. Maybe if you don't live near the ocean, that's okay. Just take a nice bath, relax in the bath, and feel, you can process emotions a lot easier in the bath. I like to meditate in the bath. It's a really good place to do some energy hygiene, brushing, that sort of stuff. Our Queen definitely chooses not to indulge in feelings of loss or deprivation in affairs of the heart, but she should watch that she does not indulge in extreme mood changes, thereby deceiving herself and others as to the precise nature of her real feelings. So if you're feeling kind of waffly, back and forthing about something, don't get too caught up in that. Just know, you know what, right now I'm feeling waffly, so I'm not going to get a clear picture about this, and so I'm just going to go with the flow for now until it becomes really clear to me. So don't do any crazy decision making. It's Mercury retrograde. As you can tell, that's probably why I'm getting all this buffering right now, because me and technology and Mercury retrograde are not friends. Actually, we're friends, because at the end they teach me some very valuable lessons. Mercury retrograde is also a time that I want you to just bear in mind. You may be sort of coming into some very sensitive, deep subjects, but you don't normally talk about them or get to them. But after all that discomfort of observing it and looking at it and digging into it, maybe it's some old wounds, maybe it's a uncomfortable truth that you need to acknowledge about yourself. At the end of the day, by the time you're done processing it, every Mercury retrograde that I've experienced some uncomfortable truths, at the end I was like, man, I just felt like I up-leveled like a ton after this. So there's always a pearl in every grain of sand that comes out of Mercury retrograde. So Ooh. Okay, Kim. I'll see if I can pop one on. I'm gonna try to buzz through all these cards here because we're getting a little over our time. I don't want us to last too long, but yeah, let's do the last card for the group poll, and I'll move on to the individual card polls. So that was it for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so Queen of Pentacles. So I like this. Pentacles is earthing, earth energy. It's a grounding energy. Lots of queens and kings this week. So really powerful energy. Let's see what the Queen of Pentacles has for us. And the herb for the Queen of Pentacles is marshmallow. And most people don't think of marshmallow as being an actual herb, but it's actually anytime I've ever worked with it, it was like a root. And it's kind of real gummy. And the marshmallows that we eat in the grocery store are just nothing but pure sugar. But marshmallow itself, it's a nutritive tonic herb. It softens and has emollient qualities. Due to its high quality of mucilage. I just wanted to mention that because when I see marshmallow, at first I was like, marshmallows are like candy, but no, marshmallow is actually a root, and it can, the true essence of marshmallows back in the day came from the marshmallow herb. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles is a sensuous woman who is very much in touch with the earth and physical life. So this is our energy. Bear in mind, this is our energy throughout this whole week. So we may be feeling kind of airy-fairy with the Fool, but stay grounded. Stay in your own power. Stay in your own energy. Practice good energetic hygiene. When you know yourself, that's really kind of sexy, like just confidence is sexy. She knows how to nurture and care for herself and others. That's a really important quality. Her pink head covering is representative of her compassion. Her red garment shows she's willing to get in touch with physical resources and put them to use. This is super important. When I said live your divine mission, but do it in a practical, hands-on way. This is great. This is like basically saying the things that you need to accomplish the things you want to do are going to be available to you. So utilize that energy. She has the ability to be focused and direct in getting things done. She's the personified Earth Mother and wants to see, feel, touch, and smell life. If advice is needed, she's the wise woman to consult. And however, she must watch as she does not interfere with others' choices or think that she knows what is best. Otherwise, she will feel drained, empty, ungrounded, and uncertain about her nurturing role. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I've been talking about, this has been a theme for me in like forever, I think. When you have really good boundaries, you don't need to take on other people's mess. If you're prone to getting tangled up in drama and other people's mess, ask yourself intuitively, is this my crap? What's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Really think about that. Like, you can cut off like hours and hours of drama at the past if you just say, you know what, I'm out of this. I don't have to deal with this. This isn't mine. This is drama. I'm going to just let it go. Let it be. You don't have to fix everything. And it's been extremely liberating to be able to say that. So you don't have to entangle yourself in other people's stuff is the bottom line. And even your own stuff. Like, am I creating drama that I don't need to? I can just stop at any time. That's kind of what I'm getting out of this. Okay. The Queen must learn how to carry through with her primary responsibilities and when to let go of situations that are out of her control. Yes, very good. Very good. That's important. Know when to say when. Know when to realize this isn't good for my energy and I'm moving on. So, by observing nature, she will see what it means to be a faithful and loving nurturer. So, key words for marshmallow. The need to be nurtured and to nurture. But remember, like, don't try to nurture something that's going to be draining to you. Know how to nurture yourself. and to be in the body and enjoy the touch, sights, tastes, smells. Have a really in the body experience this week. Enjoy some good food. Buy some chocolate at the grocery store. It's going to be Easter coming up. Buy the good chocolate, okay? And let yourself enjoy it. Okay. And then when you know who you are and you're feeling really grounded and in your knowingness, you can be a valuable resource for others. Someone they come to for wise, sage advice, and yet you're not going to be intrusive. So you know what, like I said, what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine, and allow people the space to choose. Like if they're coming to you for advice, nothing like lording over people with your opinions. That's great and all, but allowing people to come to conclusions on their own is more, I think, what people need. That space to be able to think out loud in your presence and give them a nice grounding, safe sanctuary to come to their own conclusions. So, okay, that's it for that. The affirmation for the Queen of Pentacles: I feel the joy of being on the earth. I am nurtured and nurtured others with my bliss. So this is wonderful for Easter coming up. Those of you who celebrate Easter. Let's see. So now I'm going to pull the individual cards. The first one I'm going to pull is for Bridget. Let's see. I'm going to put the deck here 3 times. Okay. Thanks, guys, for hanging out still. All right. What do we have here? Passion Flower, the 2 of Swords. Beautiful. Let's see what this has to say. A woman stands before the ocean. Her arms cross her heart and her hands hold 2 swords. The moon in the background is waxing. A new cycle is beginning. The woman has come to the point of integrating the duality of the mind. That is analysis and intuition. So the masculine and the feminine. She has been also working on an equilibrium between the heart, the emotions, and the intellect. This process will bring tranquility and greater internal balance. Any conflict that she was having is finding a resolution. So this is fitting in nicely with the events that we're going to experience through the group card pull. Essentially, you're going to be able to, when you're really in your own power and you're feeling grounded and you know you're taking care of where your energy's going, this really gives you this sense of equilibrium, this ability to balance the masculine and the feminine. This week is going to be a good flowing energy for you. You maybe have lots of balls that you're juggling up in the air, but if you're managing it well, it's going to feel smooth. So any conflict that you have, you're going to find a solution for it. Something is telling me don't think too hard about the answer. Whatever conflict that was there is going to sort of self-resolve without you having to interfere. You know, that whole thing of like, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Sometimes sitting back and staying out of it lets people fix things for themselves, including yourself. Sometimes doing nothing lets things settle down and go away on its own. So decisions, agreements have been or can now be reached. A sense of healing wisdom is hers to manifest. She must guard against being indecisive to the point of no action. There's that wishy-washy boundaries thing. Just, you know what? My first instinct was, no, I don't feel like going to that party this weekend because I've got too many things going on. We have Easter egg hunts, we have this, that, and the other. We still get blah, blah, blah. This family member wants me to go here or there. You get to say no, and you get to decide if that feels good. If she feels tension and confusion because of her indecisiveness, she must take time out to listen to her heart's wisdom, because you already know what you wanted to do anyway. So, passion flower was named so by Jesuit missionaries in Peru because it was thought that its distinctive corona and petals resembled the crown of thorns that Jesus wore. The herb was said to pacify the spirit. As an herbal essence, it will impart a sense of peaceful balance and tranquility. So, if you're feeling a little crazy, give yourself that sense of balance and tranquility. You can always rely on the essence of passion flower and tell yourself this affirmation: through my heart's path, I create a balance within. Because we always know the answer, right? We always know the answer. And, you know, oh, I knew when I said yes to come into this party, I didn't want to come, and then now I'm cranky because of it. And so we already know the answer. Okay, so that's Bridget's card. Thank you, Spirit, for that. And now I'm going to move on to Hope. This is Hope's card. Thank you guys for being here. Wonderful. You're welcome, Bridget. Thank you, Spirit, for telling us what Hope needs to hear this week. Okay. Ooh, my favorite herb, basil. 2 of Wands. And we all know basil if you do any kind of Italian cooking. And I am Italian, so yes, fresh basil is one of my favorites. 2 of Wands. It's going to be some Harry Potter energy. A noble youth holds the globe in his hand, surveying the unlimited options and possibilities it encompasses. He indicates genuine appreciation of his status and accomplishments. If this is an expanded state of awareness, it can be the very essence of positiveness, but in a lesser sense, it can border on conceit and aloofness. Here lie the ideas of mastery over one's desires and of self-control. So I'm really seeing a theme this week of being very clear on mastering what are my real emotions, where are they going, where am I putting my energy? And pay attention. If you're being kind of conceited and, you know, whatever, you can always pull back. That's the beauty of it. Here lie the ideas of mastery over one's desires and of self-control. This card teaches us to guard against the complacency and inertia that often occurs among those who are materially blessed yet spiritually empty. So what that boils down to is if you know, feeling like a sense of shallowness that might have been in your life in some place, you can always replace it with more like very simple, basic spiritual things. Like what's coming to me is maybe give up your coffee so that you can pay for somebody's parking, you know, anonymously or something like that. Just something nice that, you know, gets away from some self-centeredness and allows you to feel this sense of a deeper spiritual connection to some anonymous person this week. It's that sort of thing where maybe you're getting so comfortable in certain things, and if you just give up temporary comfort to maybe give deeper meaning to somebody else, that seems to be like a theme for you this week. Lacking a spiritual perspective on material gains and wealth may create a tendency to mere dreaminess and an inability to follow through with projects one has begun. Well, there's not much more to say to that other than, you know, just pay attention to, if you get into that state of like, okay, well, I've already got what I needed out of this, doesn't mean that you don't follow through on what your original intent was. So basil will help develop, reveal, and use the enthusiastic fire element within. I'm feeling a lot of fire energy this week as well. It's telling you just pay attention. Like, don't be kind of like, oh, I got what I needed out of this situation. Bye. You know, like really just follow through, pay attention to how you're affecting other people in the situation, whatever it may be. The word basil descends from the Greek basilius, or king. Herbalists have long associated with royalty and nobility. I personally absolutely love basil. I cook with it all the time. Primarily, basil is used to stimulate perspiration for the treatments of colds, flus, and fevers, as well as to aid the release of inner tensions of the spirit. So, tell yourself, with self-confidence and inner mastery, I move forward with my choices in life. Yes, wonderful. That was for hope. All right, let's get a card for Shana. Thank you, Spirit, for sharing with us. Wisdom for Shana. And if you're still here, let me know. Sometimes you gotta come and go, and I understand that. So you can always check it on the replay. Okay, this card is for Shana. Ooh, getting lots of major arcana. The Empress, Dong Quai or Dong Kai. All right, awesome, you're here. The Empress. Hold on, let me look this up. So the major arcana, big sweeping energy, as we know. This is related to some overall themes in our whole life, okay? So the Empress is Mother Nature herself, sitting as the queen of all earthly life. Pregnant, she embodies the fulfillment of the creative impulse in the universe. Behind her flows the clear stream of intuition that is a continuation of the blue gown of the High Priestess. She wears a yellow gown, which symbolizes the understanding and intelligence of nature. So kind of in alignment with this week, you're really kind of going to get a feel of your overall 30,000 foot view of like, what am I supposed to be doing? Why am I here? And get the highest self's version of what you're looking at. Just remember to always pull back and rely on the higher self. The Empress's crown represents the 12 signs of the zodiac and the many expressions of life which they signify. So basically, you get to pull on a lot of your life experiences this week and really say, you know what, I have a lot of perspective, and this is really good. Ruled by Venus, the planet of beauty, harmony, quality, and love, the Empress seeks pleasure in the fulfillment of her heart's desires. Her law is the law of love. She asks us to feel the co-creatorship with the divine powers around and within us. So again, when you're creating and you're mastering your energy this week, do it with this sense of the higher self and of the highest good and your sense of love. And I know that sounds kind of hinky or, whatnot, but really anything that you're doing with the greatest good in mind, it always has this beautiful ripple effect. So the Empress sees no difference between spirit and nature, for she knows that the physical world celebrates the infinite divine spirit. So like I called on Archangel Ariel, really get out there and enjoy nature if you can, if that's your thing. Really use the energy of the yin, the feminine. Enjoy intuitive energy this week. And Dong Quai actually is a feminine herb, and it increases fertility. So the idea is, it brings creativity from within. You're pregnant with ideas, basically. New life and possibility. Tell yourself, I bring forth my creations with joy. I love and nurture them to fruition. So whatever you're working on this week, keep a really good perspective and bring it to fruition. Thank you for that, Spirit. And now let's go and pull a card for Deb. You like this big sunlight right through my blind on my face here. Deb, if you're here, say hi. Hello, Deb. Thank you, Spirit, for pulling this card for Deb. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you have so many ideas. You're welcome. You know, sometimes when I get ideas, it's like, oh, when it rains, it pours. So many ideas. And you know what's very strange? When my phone died yesterday, I had a whole bunch of notes in my iPhone, and they will not come back up with my iCloud. So all those ideas went, whoop, gone. Oh, good. I'm glad you're still here, Deb. I'm about to pull your card for you. Ooh, lots of major arcanas this week. The Magician, beautiful. Some really good, big energy this week. Astragalus. The Magician represents the power of creative transmutation. He stands in a state of powerful inner attunement, encircled by the golden light of heaven. Upheld in his receptive left hand is a crystal to attract and magnify the pure cosmic energies, while in his lowered giving right hand, remember giving, the right side is masculine, what you put out into the world. The right hand is lowered, and it points a finger downward, symbolizing his ability to direct through concentration the divine energies into unlimited manifestation. So again, this week it's like all about being really careful and mindful of where your energy is going, and you get to direct it and what you want to bring into fruition. So this is especially, I'm feeling inclined to mention thoughts. Like if you get yourself off on a thinking binge that's not serving you, stop what you're doing and be really good at choosing your next thought. So around the Magician are strewn the cup, pentacle, sword, and wand, symbols of the 4 elements of creation and the 4 suits. The wand symbolizes the fire element, the enthusiasm and energy to make things happen. The cup represents the water element, feelings, and flow of ideas. The sword represents the air element, the mechanics of how the world works, and the pentacle represents the earth element and the end result of all the above. In other words, the actual physical objects, bodies, and things around us. These are the Magician's tools. So you pretty much have like all of the Magician's, you know, all the 4 elements at your disposal to create the things that you want to create. And master them. Be in control of what you want to create, essentially. And really take stock and say, okay, I'm seeing what's in front of me, and if this isn't what I wanted to create, I don't have to waste time thinking about it, and I get to move forward and start creating what I really want. And that's where that thinking, deliberate thoughts, better feeling thoughts helps you get there first. Ruled by Mercury, the planet of ideas and communication, the Magician awakens within us the ability to move inward for inspiration and then outward for manifestation. It's always a cycle of give, receive, take in, put out. It represents the ongoing communication we have with the creative flow of life. Meditation on this card will unleash the secret of how to develop our power of concentration and the ability to manifest whatever is our true heart's desire. So if you when it say your power of concentration, again, deliberate thought. Like, what are you concentrating on? What are you letting yourself, I'm really loving this like bright light right on my third eye here. That's wonderful, actually. It's saying you must always be cognizant, however, that our true power is in the divine will working through us, and we must do our work with a heart that is full of good with will towards ourselves and others. I love that, goodwill towards ourselves. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking negative thoughts towards yourself, that's not what divine will has in mind for you. Remember, you're a child of God, and He loves you, and you deserve just as much good as anybody else. So remember that goodwill towards yourself and others, lest you begin to perform the black arts and get caught in your own web. I don't think you're going to be doing any occult. Oh, I'm being blessed by intense love. Yes, it is. It's hitting my third eye. Yes, and thank you to Grandfather Sun for blessing us all. And for some reason, it's Deb. This is really important. I'm feeling like this is an important lesson for you. Like you're really needing to know this and hear this. And it's a major arcana, so that's telling me it's a long-term sweeping issue, or one of those things that when you finally get it, it's going to up-level you tremendously. Okay? So really pay attention to that. So, important. Okay. All right. And this card is for Bethany. Whew. Thank you, Spirit, for helping us give Bethany the message that she needs. Knight of Cups, sarsaparilla. Those of you who don't know, sarsaparilla is a root. Well, primarily a root. I used to drink sarsaparilla tea. I used to dig up sarsaparilla root. I think I told you all that story before. It actually tastes quite a bit like root beer. If you dig it up and you chew on it, it tastes a lot like root beer, which is what sarsaparilla root beer is made from. Ooh, Deb, I'll get you that answer in just a minute. Let me finish this card. Sarsaparilla, Knight of Cups. So when you're drinking root beer, to my knowledge, it comes from the sarsaparilla root. But I could be wrong. Somebody let me know. Knight of Cups, Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups this is for Bethany. The Knight of Cups is the active, airy aspect of the water element within each of us. He is on a tireless search for identity in relationship to another. That's so perfect. One of the things I talk about quite a bit is the world behind our eyes and the world in front of our eyes. And when you are hearing a lot of noise in the world behind your eyes, all up in your head, then it's hard to connect to others in a meaningful, healthy way. So really this week is all about knowing yourself, kind of calming that noise behind, in the world behind your eyes, and really connecting in a healthy way to others. So his winged hat suggests the spirit of a self-styled crusader or messenger of the gods. He has a dream and he is actively in pursuit of it. He is unafraid to express his feelings, tastes, and visions to others. On the positive side, he can represent a stage leading to deeper personal commitments, but on the negative side, he may lose, if only temporarily, a sense of personal identity through getting caught up in the turbulence of immature relationships. He must guard against moodiness and jealousy. So again, that overall energy of the week of what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. You can cut a whole bunch of drama off at the past when you really know, like, when you're paying attention to that little voice inside that's saying, I really don't need to get involved in this. Or if somebody's triggering you and you maybe want to react, you don't have to go there. You can skip out on all of the drama by just leaving. It's like Abraham Hicks says, just hang up the phone. So that's the energy. And that's the power of choice. And then you feel really in control of yourself because you didn't engage in nonsense. You just hung up the phone. And you can do that figuratively and literally. So, and you can do that to yourself too when you're getting yourself all crazy and thinking too many thoughts or meaning making around a lot of stuff. Just literally shut it down in your head. Nope, this line of thought wasn't working for me. Okay, moving on. And then focus on something that makes you feel good. Something simple. I like to pet my dog, or, literally something that gets you in your body and feeling, that Mother Earth sensual thing out of your head don't get too caught up in it. So I create opportunities to share my thoughts and feelings with others. When you're in this really grounded, like happy place within, when you're sharing your thoughts and feelings with others, it's a much more affirmative experience. So I don't know about you, but when I'm feeling much better inside, I'm feeling much more inclined to share with others, which could be, depending on how interactive you want to be with others. I have days where I just want to like crawl under a rock because I'm not feeling very good inside. But when we're feeling better on the inside, we're more inclined to want to go reach out on the outside. So the sarsaparilla is used to foster physical and emotional clarity. The herb may be worn in a pouch to foster courage in manifesting openness and clarity in expressing feelings and intentions. So maybe try this week to have some really kind of take an adventure, get out a little bit. Maybe it might feel a little uncomfortable, but if you do it with an open heart and you get out there and rely on the courage of sarsaparilla to give you that feeling of, this is going to be a good time, this is going to be a good experience. I think you'll have some meaningful experiences this week. Maybe go to that party this weekend if you're invited to some get-together and you really didn't want to because you don't like crowds or whatever, but go and you might have a really good time. So, okay, let me go back to astragalus, magician. I can tell Deb what that quality was. Okay, so the spiritual properties of astragalus assist in increasing the energy needed to bring about the manifestations desired. So to me, that's like if you're starting to feel like, I finally feel like I have the right to want something and ask for it. Ask for the energy of astragalus to help you really build up that desire. It will help bridge any gap there might be between the thought and the creation of the reality. So literally, we were talking about this weekend being a space where thoughts become things. So if you're like, you know what? I want to have a really pleasant family interaction this week. Focus your energy on that. Use astragalus to give you that energy to really give you the thoughts that are going to get you to the place where you actually experience a really wonderful family connection this week. That's just an example. So that's what astragalus does. Essentially, it has the ability to digest. Our ability to digest and assimilate our life experiences will be increased, and any tendency to be spacey and ungrounded will be rectified. This herb is a powerful herb of protection and can be used to create a stronger aura around oneself. So there's that. Okay, and then last but not least, we're a little bit over, but I will pull a card for Kimberly. And if you're still on, say hi. Ace of Swords, chamomile. Oh my goodness. Look at that. This is a great card. Hi, Kimberly. Oh, you're welcome, Deb. Glad you guys are still here. Awesome. Ace of Swords. Chamomile's always got a real, everybody tends to know what chamomile is because it's pretty common in teas, herbal teas, and very soothing, calming, anti-anxiety qualities. And to me, it has a pretty bland taste. Let me see. Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. Where are we at? We're getting there. Bear with me. Okay. An angelic hand piercing the clouds grasps the hilt of a double-edged sword which supports a celestial crown. This card symbolizes the expansion of thoughts, enlightenment, and illumination. There is a need to have clarity of mind and to affirm inner truths. I'm getting this feeling like you need to take a little bit of quiet time to really get some perspective in the big picture, but you're going to get some really good clarity this week. As with all two-edged swords, there's another side. So one must watch that actions, determination, and strength do not turn into excessive use of force, excessive thinking, or extreme in desires. Otherwise, the end result will be weakness, instability, nervous energy, and self-destruction. So obviously pay attention to balance around whatever clarity is you're getting. With the Ace of Swords, one should strive to allow creative and inspired ideas to burst forth. So during your moments of clarity, you may get some ideas that don't make sense, but they're there and they just pop out. Just go with spirit, really trust it. It may unfold into something bigger that you know, later down the line, you'll be like, I'm so glad I listened to that little voice that was leading me to this thing. And it didn't make sense at the time, but it makes sense now, and I'm so glad I listened to it. The potential for peaceful resolution, unbiased thoughts, and clarity of mind are now in the forefront. This is the time when complete self-acceptance and acceptance of others are possible. Through meditation and conscious living, inner peace and contentment can be attained. That's a good one for this week. Chamomile bestows greater inner peace and finer clarity about one's inner spiritual purpose. Medicinal purposes or properties. Chamomile is one of the most widely used beverages. Like I said, it's really common in a tea and medicinal teas. It is a valuable calming drink for restlessness, nervous stomach, and insomnia. Just if you need some quiet time, make a cup of chamomile tea and just meditate on what you need to know. Yes, it's beautiful. Clarity of mind, expansion of thoughts, assessing the situation, and making decisions, upholding inner truths, need to think in a more positive way. So I use the clarity of my thoughts to bring me peace and illumination. Yes. And this is another little tidbit. Chamomile is high in calcium, and when allowed to grow wild, it supplies the earth with this building nutrient. Did not know that. So, yeah, get quiet this week. Make some tea, you know, make some chamomile tea, and you're going to get a lot of answers that you had not anticipated. So I think that's that. So thank you, Spirit, for giving us all this wisdom, and thank you to everybody who joined. And that's going to be it for this week. And we went a little bit over. Thanks for being patient, and love you guys. Bye for now. You're welcome. Bye. Love you.